Ladies and gents, welcome. My name is Wasmatic. Welcome to the channel. And boy, do we have a doozy for you today. So there's been quite a lot of drama in Dual Universe over the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to relay the story to you, and I'm going to ask you one simple question. Were the devs, or were Nova Quark, right or wrong in the action they took at the end of this story? So, if you're sitting comfortably, we shall begin. Way back on October the 10th, obviously of this year, a fairly well-known content creator and his organisation suffered effectively what was an in-game heist. Call it what you like. Theft, corporate espionage, and effectively what happened was several individuals joined their organisation, gained permissions through the RDMS system, which is the rights, duties, management system in-game, which is what assigns permissions to access elements and constructs, containers, etc. These individuals joined the organisation that this is a fairly well-known content creator. I'm not going to name names simply because he and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, and he's fairly toxic. So this individual and his org suffered a enormous, I can't understate, I'll put a link into the description below with some images of what was stolen from his organisation. The perpetrators of the crime, because let's call it a crime, it is theft in game. The perpetrators of the crime gained access to the containers in the factory through legal means. Rights and permissions were assigned using the RDMS by the organisation leaders, and using those rights and permissions, these individuals quite literally stripped the factory bare. I mean, just take a look at the images of the screen grabs of the loot, which I'll put, it's an IMGUR link, it's in the description below. That is a significant loss. An enormous factory stripped. 22,500 kilolitres of resources, 70 kilotons of item, and nearly 200 large containers worth of stuff, including all the industry and probably some voxels as well. Anyway, so that happened. Many of us content creators are privileged enough to be given access to the Nova Quark PR server. So if we're an affiliate partner, for example, we can gain access to the PR server, and in that server, aforementioned content creator was fairly persistent over a number of days, possibly weeks, in trying to get the theft reversed. Now, I can understand stuff like this when it happens in game makes people feel incredibly salty. It's a theft of everything, all the work you've put into the game from day one. So I completely understand the emotional reaction to having this scale of theft take place. And like I said, that was on October the 10th. And looking back through the messages now, you know, the complaints were going on until the 19th of October about this theft. And Nova Quark looked into it. There were accusations that there was use of an exploit in the permission system. I don't know if that's true. I suspect it's probably a bug. I don't know the details, but I know that these individuals had gained permission through legal means. Whether the ability to rescind the permissions was delayed due to a bug, who knows? But the theft took place, and Nova Quark assessed the situation, and I'll put in another forum link here, where the perpetrators of the crime show that they were supported by Nova Quark. So Nova Quark effectively said, we intend for theft and corporate espionage, and such activities are a solid part of the game. Permissions were gained by legal means, and therefore we're not going to support your request to have your items returned and the perpetrators of the crimes punished. And the perpetrators of the crime, not going to name them either, but they posted on the Dual Universe forum and said, thanks to Nova Quark for backing us up and advising the victim they won't intervene with RDMS theft. So the theft is legal in the eyes of Nova Quark. Right, that bit of the story is done, but we haven't finished, because it takes a really, really interesting twist. So, on 2 days ago, there were a number of players who were at Market 15 which is, for those of you who don't know the game, Market 15 is effectively, I guess, what you could call an NPC construction. There are no NPCs in the game, but this construction is effectively built by Novaquark for players to sell items and land at and things like that. And due to a flaw in the rights duties management system, players were able to edit Marketplace 15. So a number of players took to Discord and tried to contact the devs and let them know that this bug was happening. Those of you who play the game and have tickets in will know that Novaquark are absolutely drowned in tickets at the moment due to the number of bugs in beta. So some players, I'm not going to name them, decided to take it upon themselves to deconstruct the marketplace, and they started to strip the place bare. Again, there is a link in the description below. You can see the pictures of the marketplace after it's been stripped. It's fairly, they literally just took the place apart. Literally took the place apart. Now, I don't know whether this happened. They're suggesting, the players who undertook this deconstruction of the marketplace, they're suggesting that this was via legal means, and it was an inability for Novaquark to manage their rights and duties management system properly. So we have a situation where it would appear Novaquark potentially, and I say it would appear because we don't know if it's a bug or not, have given players the ability to steal or thieve items, or literally steal Marketplace 15. This is very similar to the theft of from the organisation when the RDMS permissions were given out. It would appear that there was a gap in the RDMS permissions. So I'm going to read you now the quote from Novaquark about what happened when the content creators organisation had their factory stolen. It reads thus: RDMS permissions and settings are the sole discretion of each player. We advise you, take the time to get to know and understand the system, and be cautious when making a construct or element usable by unknown players, including the use of your friends list. Not every player has your best interest at heart. We cannot get involved with permission-based theft, whether as an individual or an organisation. We encourage you to review your friends list each time you add or remove someone and ensure your construct permissions are set accordingly. The context menu options that set public access currently do not have a confirmation prompt. Be careful, as setting public access to said construct will allow every player in Dual Universe to go into build mode and remove or place the elements and voxels. This is, in green brackets, allowed. Okay, so theft via RDMS permissions is allowed. So the players who decided to take down Market 15 are effectively, if what they're saying is true and this is just a loophole, they have effectively pulled down Market 15 using legal means, as per that previous note from Novaquark. Now the players they wrote in the sky in voxels, please no ban. Okay, if it was me, I would have put in a ticket, been quite vigorous in trying to make sure that Novaquark were aware that this problem existed. I probably wouldn't have pulled the marketplace down. The repercussions on both the developers for having to reinstate this and other players who were selling items at the marketplace could be catastrophic. You could lose things, or it just creates a whole storm of problems and chaos that takes away from the development cycle. But that's my opinion, right? I wouldn't have done it, but the ability to do it existed in the game, and as per the clarification from Novaquark, that any holes or public access via the rights duties management system is allowed. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The players wrote in voxels in the sky, please no ban. All the players who did it have been banned permanently as of 2 days ago. Anyway, that happened. So yesterday, Novaquark put out a statement on the forums that reads thus: Hello, Novians. By now, some of you may be aware that unlucky number Market 15 has been stripped bare and left to create ugly memes for generations to come. We're trying to look at this in good humour as, from the front, it appears to be an issue that was created when we moved the markets, making it editable by players. I'm reading RDMS there. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, brackets, though we know there are a few of you out there, close brackets, to understand that the markets are not a community construction, and as such not intended to be handled by players on this level. The deconstruction of the build isn't a quick fix and was clearly done knowing it shouldn't be. An important aspect we are considering in all cases and investigations is intention. The intention behind this destruction is very clear to us. The players involved did not report this bug to us, although they are claiming that they did, by the way. They are claiming that they reported the bug, and they've cited the times that they contacted people on Discord to report it, but instead simply filled their pockets. Had this stopped with a single voxel removed, it would be a different story. This is, at its core, a violation of the EULA and against the intentions of Beta. We have been as understanding as we can until this point, but there must be a line. Let us be clear, we will not tolerate this kind of behaviour during any phase of the development of Dual Universe. The players responsible for the destruction of the market have been permanently banned from Dual Universe, and all salvage materials and assets gained will be removed without compensation. So here's the dilemma. If those players just used a gap in the RDMS system, as they're saying here, it made it editable by players, should the organisation who had their entire factory stolen have their items recompensed? Should they be given their items back effectively? So here's the dilemma. You have two situations. One is Nova Quark have left the marketplace, which we all know we shouldn't pull down or steal, but players do what players do in games. As we all know, there are people who will exploit or take advantage of a gap. The marketplace was a construct. It was managed by rights and duties management system. There was a gap in that system and players stole. There is an organisation who left a gap in their RDMS and had their entire factory stolen, months worth of work, and that was a gap in the RDMS system and no action was taken. So here's my question to you. Reply in the comments below. Were Nova Quark right to ban these players? Was that the right thing to do? Did these players not just take advantage of a gap in the RDMS, as did the players who stole the factory from the organisation? I'll leave the decision to you. I'm not stating a preference either way. I think it's a really difficult one to manage. I'm not entirely sure that a permanent ban was the right solution here, because effectively it's displaying potentially some double standards where players can steal from other players, and that's okay, but players can't steal from Nova Quark through the same mechanism. I'll leave the decision in your hands, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.